Do I think there's good news when it comes to Onyx despite of the price of XCN? I actually think so, even though nothing I say is financial advice. Now, this may seem kind of counterintuitive because the price isn't doing the best, but I still can't deny, personally, that I think it's pretty good news because not too long ago, Onyx, they made a post on X and it said that we're thrilled to announce that Onyx AI V2 is now live. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to this, people are saying, who cares about it? But not too long ago, when XCN had that really good rally, this would have been a different case. But then now, because the price isn't doing good, this type of stuff is kind of often ignored. But then I haven't ignored it because some people may say to me, right, or, just kind of talk to me about this and say, okay, it's not good timing. It's not good timing in a sense where the price isn't doing good, but let's just think about this logically. Let's say when Apple wants to launch a product, right? Let's say they want to launch an iPhone, right? A new iPhone, I should say. Do they know what's going to happen to the markets at that exact moment in time? That type of stuff is out of the control at some cases. You know what I mean? So when Onyx does something, sure, it may be cool, it may be interesting, but as to what exactly happens to the price at that exact moment in time, that is like beyond the control, So when I take a look at something like this and people say, oh, it's bad timing, well, actually, I think it may seem like bad timing at first glance. However, I actually think it's good timing considering the project of Onyx. Let me explain why. Because even though nothing I say is financial advice, I think this is actually laying down the groundwork and laying down the foundation for what the project could be moving forward. Imagine if a project only started to do things when the price is doing good. Sometimes it's too little too late. This is the way to take a look at it. So when Onyx is doing this type of stuff right now, I think it's actually good and maybe even perfect timing for the project in and of itself, right? Because it shows progression, it shows they're doing something. Sure, the price is totally different case because it's not doing good as of right now. I mean, even 25 cents is currently around a 28x from here. Totally aware of that. But then, still, this is pretty impressive. If we take a look at the AI market, right? It is predicted to reach nearly $2 trillion by 2030, according to Grandview Research. Now, with that being said, though, is the Onyx AI V2, or should I say the AI Agent V2, is this really going to be anything that is top 10 in terms of popularity? Probably not, in my opinion, but it's a step in the right direction. And we've seen time and time again how typically when it comes to projects that have an aspect of AI, we've seen momentary moments of brilliance, when the market does pick up a little bit when it comes to altcoins. So I feel like sometimes those projects kind of go along with the ride. The way to take a look at it is this. Onyx, in my point of view, is basically a miniature version of Ripple and Stellar, but then with kind of a little bit of an AI aspect. I don't know why I'd give up. This is just my point of view. If the space that it's focused on literally had no future, then that's a different case. But they're literally focused on payments and global trade and finance. The payments market is currently valued at over $2 trillion. The global trade and finance market is predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. Onyx, they're literally focused on the exact same market as Ripple and Stellar. Or should I say markets, right? Plural. When I take a look at something like Onyx, what I like about it as well is that it just doesn't feel like the project gave up. If the project gave up, that's a different case, but it just doesn't feel like that to me. And sure, when it comes to 25 cents, it may seem a little bit like, oh wow, why even talk about this right now? My point of view is this. If I'm dollar cost averaging and I'm only wanting to dollar cost average when the price is, like, let's say, doing really good, I don't know what's the point. Imagine, if XCN, right, from right now, just went to back where it was back in July, let's say. At one point, the market cap was nearly 700 million, right? If it just did that from right now, I'm not saying it has to go back to what it once did back in January. I'm saying literally, if it just went back to what it did back in July. So that's like around 3 months ago. You know what I mean? That's already over a 2x from here. That's kind of crazy to think about. Again, just going back to where it once was back in July is already over a 2x. That's kind of fascinating for me to see. That is how much XCN has had a pullback in the grand scheme of things. And I think also that kind of indicates that just doing over a 2x from where it is as of right now, we just saw it like not too long ago, literally like about 3 months ago, we saw that. I'm not saying it's going to do that anytime soon because who knows? I can't control the markets anyway. But I'm just saying, just going back to July, it doesn't seem that difficult and it's already over 2x from here. We just saw it not too long ago again. So this is just my point of view. However, of course, 25 cents is a different, type of thing, right? Of course, it's a different discussion because that's probably when there's an altcoin season, if it ever even happens, and in a make-believe scenario, if it could ever even achieve that. But again, 25 cents is around a 28x from here. That's different than doing over a 2x. But I'm just saying, like, even going back to July is already over a 2x from here in terms of where it once was in terms of market cap. But besides that as well, 25 cents, considering current circulating supply, market cap at that point would be around 9 billion. Like, still, I just don't find that too ridiculous. If we take a look at something like Ripple, something like Stellar, it doesn't really have that many competitors, I think, in the grand scheme of things. Like, and there's not even that many options beyond that to begin with. Sure, there's something like Onyx, which I'm talking about right now, of course, right? XCN. There's Zebig, or should I say ZVCN. There's XDC, which is kind of the most popular one, I would say, beyond those two options, again, Ripple and Stellar. But then I take a look at something like XPR and SwiftCoin. But really, in the grand scheme of things, that's not too many. I mean, that's just like 4 other than Onyx if we remove Ripple and Stellar from that equation. It's like not that many in my opinion. So around a $9 billion market cap for a project that is pretty much heavily focused on payments and global trade finance, it just wouldn't seem that ridiculous to me. This is just my perspective. And sure, when people like to say, oh, why don't you give up when it comes to this and all this type of stuff? This is the way to take a look at it. Considering how July is over a 2x from here, in terms of market cap, and considering what I saw it did back in January, it's a little bit tough for me to give up on it. This is just the way to take a look at it. I mean, me giving up on it, I think, is a bit harder for me than just simply believing in it. This is the way to take a look at it. Sure, I don't have a magic crystal ball to find out when this exactly is going to happen, all this type of stuff. The only thing I can do is control myself and just maybe take a look at some hypothetical scenarios. I mean, that's pretty much about it. But fundamentally, I like the project, and I just don't want to give up. I like what I'm seeing when it comes to Onyx. I get it. The price is a different case. It's not doing the best. But fundamentally, I'm still a fan. And it was way harder for me to believe in XCN before January, right? I mean, take a look at how not good it was doing. The price was basically flat like that. But still, I believed in it. And that January moment really, I think, showcased to me that Onyx, it's not something that I want to ignore. This is the way to take a look at it. I'm not telling you to do anything, but if it was able to do that without an altcoin season, what could it do during an altcoin season? Who knows? But if it did better, it wouldn't surprise me. But I'm still staying patient, holding, and just waiting. And that's pretty much about it. And I want to say thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'd also greatly appreciate that. I hope y'all have a nice day. It's Bunny the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.